Fit for Life Radio, episode 94. Gary and Will coming at you.
We're so close to 100.
Chipping away. Then we just retire.
That's it. Just 100 episodes and we're done forever.
Walk off like Jordan.
Yeah.
But he came back.
He did.
Speaking of Jordan, actually, no. This has nothing to do with Jordan.
Nah.
Today, we are going to start a little 3-part series on eating / diet / nutrition, whatever you want to call it.
It's all the same.
Food. And we've touched on this before sporadically throughout other episodes, but we'll kind of lay it out real clear. Everyone, when they think of eating, we think of what we eat. Oh my gosh, what food should I eat? What diet? Those kind of things. But equally as important as the what is also the how we eat and the why we eat, addressing those things. And when you want to improve your nutrition for any goal, whether it be, especially around fitness, if you want to lose weight, you want to, or specifically lose body fat, gain muscle, improve performance, have better mood, all these things, you need to address your nutrition. And we want to emphasize not just addressing the what, but again, also the how we eat and the why we eat. So we'll have 3 episodes. Today will be the why.
Why?
Then we'll do the how, and then we'll talk about the what. So let's get to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of whys.
So why we eat. I'm sure reasons are popping in your head. We're going to go through a few. So there is kind of like 4 main ones, but for fun, I had a poll on my Instagram, and luckily for us, everyone, so I posed the question, share a reason why you eat. Anything that pops in your head's fine, nothing silly. And sure enough, we got pretty much the 4 I was looking for in here. Got some new ones here. So the main ones are boredom, sadness, which is emotional, stress,
Yep.
and comfort, entertainment. So those
That
are
pretty much covers
the
everything.
biggest things. So ultimately, we'll start with the obvious one, which is we have to have food to live.
Yeah, you need it.
We need food. Obviously, if you're in a specifically maybe poverty, third world country, you're eating what you can get, right? You're already having this natural balance of getting enough food to like maintain your weight and support your lifestyle. And if you're not getting that, you can't be picky, right? If you're living in the woods, you're getting what you can. So obviously those people, they're not listening to the podcast and having this.
But their why is just to live.
Yeah, this first world problem. So we could even say, in general, a balanced eating generally matches. It's eating that matches your energy expenditure. That's kind of what we're all after.
Yep.
Right? But what we know is in today's environment and society,
just doesn't happen.
Yeah, we have more. Food is more available, and it's more than just fuel.
Yeah, and it's entertainment, and it's attractive, and it's fun, and that's really hard.
So if you're someone who struggles with your energy balance, say on the continuum of eating, the goal is balanced eating, there's overeating, loss of control of eating, binge eating, food addiction, right? So all of us are somewhere on that spectrum, and normally we all want to work towards and be as close to balanced eating as possible. So if you just address the foods, that's not always going to fix the problem, because...
Which is pretty apparent, I think. Mm-hmm. How many people know what you should and shouldn't eat overall, right? Like, you shouldn't have like pizza and chips for all your meals. Mm-hmm. And, lean meats, fruits, veggies, whatever else. But most people have an idea of that.
Right.
Yet still don't do it. And I think that really leans into the why and the how.
Well, and the focusing on the what actually causes a lot of the problem. Mm-hmm. Because then people say, well, I'm going to only eat these foods, go on this hardcore diet, eliminate all these other things that are still going to be in your life
flashing at you as you drive down the street.
That you have to deal with. So what happens is you create this on-off, good-bad cycle, which then a hardcore month of being quote-unquote on
or good
is almost training you to then end up binging,
Yep.
right? Because you're only addressing the what, and yeah, if those foods were only available to you, you never had any other influence, environmental influence, your past, right? If, that's going to matter. So yeah, if you have all these foods from your past, they're still in your memory and brain and all that. So yeah, you're just addressing the what, that's not going to last. And then if anything, you end up going back the other way hardcore. So that's where you start diving in. Okay, why am I eating?
Yeah.
Right?
Why do I normally go for all these things?
So you get off work and you have a bag of trail mix or Cheetos and you eat that.
Trail mix.
Why are we eating it? Are we physiologically super hungry? Probably not, because you probably had something
at lunch
in the morning, something at lunch, maybe even other snacks that you brought to work. But maybe it's just because, so it could be out of habit, right? It's in the car.
The more often you do something like that, the more it becomes automatic for people. And
you could have started having it because work was stressful, and every day you want that little hit. The food provides you, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
It's dopamine, right? You want to explain dopamine a little?
I mean, yeah, I think it's dopamine and serotonin, but dopamine's like they're basically like the feel good type hormone substance. And really we get it from anticipating, or planning, leading up to something. But when we eat foods that are hyper palatable, it feels good. In a moment, like it goes away, but in that moment, like we feel good. And a lot of the reason why that ties to a why is like, yeah, if you are, maybe feeling tired or down or, had a bad day, like it makes you feel good for a second. And then we start to want that, and so that, starts a cycle on top of, the habit of it. But yeah, and then the serotonin release, which also is a feel good substance, associated with eating foods like that. So, you're anticipating it and then you do it and it feels great to do. And your brain's like, well, why don't we do that again? And so that kind of will spiral for a lot of people.
And then what happens is those dopamine receptors become less responsive to the food.
And so you need even more to get that same response, which, I mean,
a bigger hit of food is required. Yeah.
To get the same exact response. So it's like if you think about, like drugs, like I guess you would need more to get the same impact. And that's what spirals a lot of people there too. So yeah, you can see how that would kind of send somebody into a bad spot if they keep doing it and keep wanting more and more and more, because those calories add up over time. It's not like it's an innocuous substance, like that matters.
And what you'll see is this kind of nugget of information will be almost on all three, like the what, the how, and the why. And because more highly processed foods are engineered to create more of a dopamine response, right? So yeah, choosing the what is going to make you deal with that better. But addressing why we're seeking these things out, and maybe then how we can replace that dopamine with another form, something that's not food, that can maybe give that to us, can be a good starting point. So, if you catch yourself using food because you're stressed, because you're bored, a good first step is, kind of note that, and then from there, replace it with something that's not food, right? No one's saying don't decompress after a stressful day.
Yeah.
But you just want to try not to do it with food.
Yeah. There's a better way to do it that's not food related.
Exercise is a good one.
That's a really good one. I think a lot of people fall into that and realize how much it helps their day.
Going for walks, even setting goals, right? Yeah, I do want to, improve my strength or my body composition to make me feel better. And now you can actually create dopamine from the anticipation of not eating that those
To
cheaters
help you towards your goal.
Because now you're, like Will said, a big part of dopamine is the anticipation. Well, if you align your goals and remind yourself of them, and then you're making decisions that you know will lead you closer to your goals.
That feels good.
That feels good.
Yeah.
You're getting the dopamine hit from saying no
Yeah.
to the extra food.
Exactly. So you flipped it around and actually turned it into a positive just because you changed maybe what your goal was in that moment or, in that period of time. And I think that's powerful.
Yeah. So really, this is how powerful your mind and brain is. You can almost just change the way you think, and that's going to help you overcome a lot.
Yeah.
Another big one is, which is obvious, is we eat because it's time to eat.
Yeah.
So that's,
It's a double-edged sword.
Double-edged sword. That's what over the time working with people in the real world, we've learned it's better to probably eat less so that you have less chances to end up eating too much.
Yeah.
Because if you do eat 6 times a day, even if you're like, I'm going to have planned 6 meals a day, now you're used to eating at all those times, right? So now you're going to need good foods that help, green light foods that help you not overeat typically, but those are harder to come upon,
Yeah.
right?
And it's more opportunities to overeat.
Yeah, they're less available. So now all of a sudden, it's on time you normally eat, you're not prepared. You're going to, then the vending machine or
You're going to grab a Snickers or whatever.
But if you can adjust and get used to, say, just eating 3 meals a day, cut out snacking in between, hormonally, there's, hunger hormones that are used to a certain schedule. So if you're used to eating less, you're going to notice you don't have those hunger pangs as much in between and as often, which then is going to, make you have a better chance of not having to
not
all these
overeating
other
and
things.
doing that.
3 meals. Some people do great with 2 meals, but really like between 2 and 4 times a day is on the bell curve, the sweet spot for most people.
Yeah, and you adapt to that too. Like it might take time if you're used to eating all day, or just like you have 6 meals and you have snacks all the time. Like there is an adjustment period where, like you might have to just be hungry when you're going from 6 to 3 meals a day, but you know that like okay, this will pass and this will benefit me, and then you get used to the schedule of 3 days a week or 3 days a week.
Yeah.
That's all you get, 3 meals a day. And then you don't have that hunger anymore because you've kind of trained yourself. It's almost, we'll think of it like a habit. If you're in the habit of eating a snack at 10 a.m. every day, your body's going to be like, where's my snack?
Yep.
And
if normally you bring an apple and some grapes and you don't bring those, but 10 a.m. rolls around, you're going to be like, still, where's my snack?
Yeah, where's my snack?
And then, there's a Milky Way bar in the
and there's this little bit
vending machine
of panic, I think, that happens with people when they get hungry. Like, I need to eat now. And one, like, realize it's not an emergency. Like, we live in a first world country, and
the reality is we
have too much food.
We should skip meals more than we should.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have to make every eating situation because remember, stored like body fat is stored energy.
Yeah.
If you don't eat, your body has plenty of
You
stored
got
energy.
plenty.
Right? So, unless you haven't been eating for a month, you skipped a month's worth of meals.
Then you've used up all that.
But trust me, a snack when you just ate 2 hours ago and you're going to eat 2 hours from now, you can do without.
How many? I don't remember the figure. How many calories does the average person have on them? Do you remember that? Like of fat?
Oh, I mean, if
it's a ton.
I
can't remember how many. I think it's 30 days worth.
It's probably
like if you didn't eat for 30 days.
I think that's if you're at a healthy weight.
Yeah. So then even more.
So if you're 40 pounds overweight,
you got even more, man.
I mean, you're talking. Well, there you go. If a calorie of fat is
9 calories.
9.
1 gram. It's 9.
How many?
If you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late, so having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's one scoop mixed in water once a day and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out. If you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late, so having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's one scoop mixed in water once a day and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out.
What in a pound of fat is normally 3,500 calories,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, 3,500 times 40.
So say you're just 30 pounds overweight. Thirty times 35, that's 105,000 calories.
That's a lot of days,
And
right?
if normally you need about, say, 2,000 calories, that's 52 days.
You're going to be okay. Like, you're good. Like, you're not going to starve to death.
Now, what you're experiencing is, not to invalidate anything, though, is especially if you're used to eating carbier stuff and lower protein, you're just on the blood sugar roller coaster.
Yeah.
So you're not experiencing like true physiological hunger. Oh my gosh, I'm going to die. You're just experiencing a dip in blood sugar.
And your body's like, hey, we need to bring this up.
You know, and you're on this roller coaster of blood sugars too. So that's another reason to be able to skip a meal so that body can handle that better. And it's a catch-22. The more overweight we are, typically the worse our insulin sensitivity is, and the more we struggle with those blood sugar ups and downs and managing that, right?
And as you get leaner, it's going to get better.
You get better at that.
Stabilizes more.
Exactly. More stabilized mood, hunger, all that.
Yeah, that was a tangent.
So, yeah, we do have to eat. It is good to have set meal times because we're fueling a lot of us. Yeah, we do exercise and do these things, but you have to be at a baseline level honest with yourself, right? If you're inactive and don't do anything, you don't need as much food, you know? So
that's what it is. And you'll see a lot of people when they maybe can't work out or they have to stop for some reason, maybe they get hurt, will keep eating the same amount of food. And this is like textbook. And they're like, I gained like 10 pounds. Well, like, did you adjust your eating? No, I've been eating the same thing I did when I was very active. And that's just a pretty cut and dry thing that happens a lot. So you do have to account for that.
Yep. And then, sadness, emotional eating, that's a big one. And that, goes really deep to typically maybe even childhood. So we, again, use food almost as a friend.
To feel good and
and then we eventually get used to those hormonal hits and what was it, the
Dopamine.
that we talked about. And yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's not. It's way deeper, and like it might even require going to therapy or something. Like it's not for all of us not easy to address all of those things. So you might have to talk to somebody about it, or maybe just face what has been in the back of your mind or eats away at you. But you have to deal with it. Otherwise, you're going to keep turning to food, and for the most part, it's probably not working out for you. So,
yeah,
you have to address that. And again, not saying it's easy, but it's there, and you probably won't make much change without facing that.
Yeah. Another big reason why we eat is entertainment.
That's
so boredom,
such a big thing
entertainment,
now.
and it becomes a habit, and that's not a habit you want to have. Now, it's okay, and that's to eat for entertainment. You just want to be aware.
Yeah, you want to make that conscious decision that this is for entertainment. I'm going to enjoy it, and I know I don't need this.
Mm-hmm. And I always think a good, crux for this is, people will, you're having a party and you're buying chips and, making, some special dessert, and then people are coming over, you're having this for entertainment, then it's over and people have trouble throwing food away.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to remember, one thing I always tell myself is you didn't buy this for fuel. You understood this is highly processed, highly enjoyable, entertaining food for this moment. Just like if you bought a movie ticket, that's entertainment, right? Don't just, I'm going to just eat all this food just because it's here now, or I don't want to, quote unquote, waste it, right? So you have to kind of be able to separate that. And
that's a hard one for a lot of people.
You can mentally just see, hey, that was entertainment. It's over now. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good battle to work through. And also then noticing, do you need every single food or meal to be entertaining? Because here's the thing. Typically the foods that are best for us aren't as entertaining, right?
No.
So we don't enjoy them as much. So having chicken and broccoli and rice isn't as fun. But then that also means, but even though it's super nutritious and you can eventually, you should be able to tell your mind, like, this is fuel, this is going to help me for lots of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And then those are good reasons to do it, right? And for our health and things like that. So you have to find the pros and cons of, say, a fun meal versus a fuel meal. And if you find that you are just needing every meal to entertain you, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't compare, some super, like nachos is always going to be way more fun and enjoyable than baked chicken thigh.
100%.
Right? So you can't compare and
be like, oh, well, this one's better. Well,
you have to.
Of course it is.
You have to get used to understanding there's going to be fuel meals and there's going to be fun meals, and not every meal can be a fun meal.
Yeah, and that's a kind of a.
Mm-hmm. And no matter how much you try to dress it up, there's some awesome cookbooks out there. It's not going to have those heightened senses. But I'll say this, as we're sitting here, it's like, man, that just sounds depressing. But here's the thing. Those meals, the quote-unquote fuel meals, you start to enjoy them more. You have to understand the power of your brain. When you then start to sleep better, feel better,
work out better,
get all these benefits, you then mentally tie those to those fuel meals, and all of a sudden,
and they feel better.
They start being more fun and more enjoyable because the little bit delayed gratification, but
they're making you feel better.
Pros and benefits that you're going to get out of it, and then you start to enjoy it more, right? So you have to realize if you're going from all super heightened, extreme flavors, funness, it may feel a little dull at first, but over time, it will actually surpass those. I would even almost say those are your fun meals because you love what you can expect out of them.
Yeah.
That's more than just the short-term gratification that comes from,
a slice of cake.
A slice of cake.
Yeah.
Because then what happens? Oh, your stomach's upset and you sleep poor because you're on a sugar high and you wake
And you're still hungry.
Yeah,
Like that's a
and
big
you're still
one.
hungry, and you wake up, and you know you need to start making note of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, when you're trying to work on this why we eat, you can start to save those for fewer and far between meals.
Yeah.
For special occasions, because you realize, you know what, I don't want to eat because I'm sad today. I don't want to eat because I'm bored today. You know, hey, I'm sad. I'm going to call a friend. Hey, I'm bored. I'm going to go exercise.
Yeah,
you
go
know,
for a
I'm gonna
walk.
Go, yeah, I'm going to go join a, you know, volleyball league, right? Emotional, bored, sad. What was the other one?
Entertainment.
Entertainment. Well, that kind of goes with bored. I know.
It does, but they're kind of different.
I think we had, let me see here. Beep, beep.
I mean, another one could just be it's because it's a habit. You know, if you're used to eating at a certain time, you just eat at a certain
Yeah.
time. So that could be.
Yeah, and that one, again, manage the amount of times you're eating. You know, if you notice you struggle, eat less often, right? So why do we eat? Again, these are made, write everything down and then start to look at how can I address these, you know? And again, our takeaways, eat less often to begin with. Replace food with other things. So again, if it's stress, boredom, entertainment, find other forms of entertainment that aren't food, other forms of stress relief that aren't food.
Yeah, I mean those are the
Yeah.
biggest ones. And then you can regularly ask yourself why you're eating this meal, right, or this food, and then being honest with yourself, and two, just being a little more in the moment as well.
Yeah.
If you have to ask yourself why at every meal, then you're a little more focused on it. You're probably not mindlessly watching TV, or in that moment you're not. So it's a little more introspective, and you have to be honest with yourself. And when you do that, it's not fun, but you're a little more likely to be like, okay, well, I did have that because I had a bad day, or, I'm super bored and I want to feel good, and you have an entertaining meal, So generally you'll know. And then other meals, when you are like, yeah, that was just a fuel meal. It was good, but not the best. Like we said, those start to add up when you have other effects from them. So more of a long-term versus short-term gratification, but I think that can be a little more powerful as you kind of, snowball and get better and better at it.
Yeah. And another big factor, it kind of ties into entertainment a little bit, is our social factors, right? Why we eat. A lot of times we eat because someone else is eating.
Yeah.
Or because it's there. Maybe you were going to a party and whatever, you and friends are playing card games, and if there was no food there, you weren't in.
Yeah, you'd probably be fine.
But now maybe there's 12 different dishes that you haven't even thought about. You didn't even know existed. But now you're eating them because socially everyone else is, or because they were there. Again, that can be fine, and you can plan for that, and that's normal. But if you start noticing that maybe there's some situations and people that's all you do, that's the only thing, everything's tied to it, you might want to take a good look at that. Again, not judging it as good or bad,
But is this helping me?
but just seeing, what am I gaining out of these events, especially if you're trying to change.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that one. I mean, your environment is, we'll always, I think, say it's probably one of the biggest factors in change anyway. So that's a good one to look at.
And if you notice, you can say you change some of these things. Say, man, there's 2 times a day where one I eat out of boredom, and another time normally for stress relief. Well, before we've even touched what to eat, you could have made a big difference and a big change by just addressing
Why you're eating.
Why you're eating. And now, all of a sudden, with a little structure and awareness, you realize, hey, I'm having food at set times, that I'm at a frequency I can plan for and be consistent and provide food that fuels me, and I don't overeat on. And then I have I'm more aware about when I'm having food for fun and entertainment, and there's a couple times I do, and I can manage it. And again, what everyone's goal is and aiming for, that balanced eating, and you're able to maintain your body weight with those maybe planned entertainment meals or social events.
Yeah.
And boom, you're in a balanced place. They're perfectly fine. That's the goal. You're maintaining body weight, balanced eating. You can include some of those things by being more aware and focused on the why.
Yeah. And you're a little more in control of yourself when you kind of address those whys and you understand, why you do things and, how you can fix them.
Mm-hmm. But it's also hard because addressing the why is addressing
you
and a lot of things that maybe people don't want to unpack. Maybe you're stressed after work because you hate your job and your boss, right?
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden trying to work on your nutrition,
you got to
figure deep dive on your career and job, and you have to then address those issues, right? And that's hard.
And yeah, that's a lot. And you might not be ready for it in the moment. That's okay, but yeah, those things do come out when you really start digging.
Think that is that's why nutrition is so hard, because it's deeper. It's
way deeper than the what.
Deeper. So
the what is the surface. The why is, the iceberg that's underwater that you don't see.
Yeah. And people that maybe they don't have as many issues to work through normally can do well with just addressing the what, because there's no need deeper to go. They kind of make changes, bring a little awareness. Oh yeah, this is great.
Yeah, I feel good. This is fine.
Who maybe take longer or there's stuff to go through, have a deep. That's where the why maybe was a deep dive.
Yeah.
But it has to be done.
Yep. Have to.
Mm-hmm. So that's the hardest. That's gonna be the hardest.
Yeah.
So you got through the hardest. You're thinking through things right now. The why we eat is tough. Right?
That's crucial.
So next week on the how we eat, it's not going to be as difficult. It's normally more bad habits.
Yeah.
Like eating too fast, eating distracted, those kinds of things. So more surface behavior changes.
Yeah. So not as deep as the why, but still important. Definitely very important in the process.
Yep. So think about it.
Just ask yourself the question when you're eating a meal. And again, it's not wrong to be eating for entertainment, but I think it's important to make the decision yourself that, I am going to eat for entertainment, and then do it, because then you can, go back to eating your normal meals a little bit easier, because you recognize that was a, quote unquote trip to the movies that you took while you ate that cake or whatever you got, and then you threw it away afterwards. So,
or eating a food because you like it and maybe it's nostalgic, but being aware that that's why you're eating it, and you can have a serving of it and then be done. You don't have to think,
you don't have to
oh
eat
my
it
gosh,
for a week.
You start it and I can never have this again, and I'm going to binge on it. It can just be a small part of your day, and you're bringing awareness to it, and you know why you're eating it. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom, bang, bing.
Just ask a question.
All right, everyone. Open up your notebooks. Let us know if you have any questions about this.
Yeah. If this helps you.
If you like it. We're supposed to have Amanda coming on again, who's a licensed therapist. We had her before. Everyone loved that. So maybe start telling us if there's specific topics a little along these deeper things that you'd like to hear her go over, dive into, questions. Hit us up, Facebook, Instagram, email, carrier pigeon.
I was trying to come up with a funny one, and I couldn't do it.
All right.
All right, we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
As always, thanks for listening, guys. If you want to learn more, check us out at coastalfitnessva.com or garydeagle.com. We'll see you next time.